hurt? That's no problem at all because you change everything week to week. Injuries don't derail your chance at victory. It's a new season every week. You're never stuck with the same players. You can pick your team in just minutes and be on your way to winning huge cash. This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000. And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com. You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day. $1 million just for playing fantasy football at DraftKings.com. Head to DraftKings.com now and use promo code Spreaker to play for free in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker now at DraftKings.com.
The Sports Fix is on iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeart app today. Subscribe to the show and get your fix.
You love Cleveland, and you already know how much we love Cleveland. You know who else loves Cleveland? GV Art and Design. Everyday fans, you and I wear our pride on our sleeves. Now, you can wear your pride on your chest. GV Art and Design has one of the hottest Cleveland sporting lines. Log on right now to gvartwork.com. Check out all of their fantastic designs. And don't forget, use the sales code FIX10, FIX10, to save 10% on your total purchase. Follow gvartwork.com on Facebook, and remember, GV Art and Design, it's not just a shirt, it's a statement.
Fantasy sports lovers, you put so much time, hard work, and effort into playing week to week that it quickly stops being a fantasy and starts getting real. Real time spent making real decisions, creating real victory.
I'm the greatest man in the world!
And when the smoke clears, you want to show off those victories with a real prize.
I mean, a really real prize.
Nobody does that like Fantasy Jocks. The crew over at Fantasy Jocks have beautiful, high-quality, and heavy-duty championship belts, rings, trophies, and so much more for all your fantasy sports needs.
The trophy's 12 feet high, and it is glorious!
Football, baseball, hoops, you name it, they have it. Plus, they have awesome draft kits and party supplies to make all your preseason activities the envy of everyone. If your league needs a ring, belt, or trophy, or you want to upgrade what you already have, there's literally only one place to go. If you're going to be a fantasy jock, do it right.
It's mine, the most magnificent belt ever created, and it's mine.
With America's fantasy sports superstore, FantasyJocks.com.
What's your fantasy?
Now, back to the Sports Fix.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you guys, rolling on. Going to the phones here as we get ready. We've got a few moments. John McMullen from the Sports Network is going to join us just about 10 minutes from now, talking Johnny football. The Cleveland Browns install Manzel as their quarterback here this week. I don't know. Some people incredibly excited, other people less so. But I'll tell you what, you know what? We'll get into that in a moment. John McMullen, curious to see where he's at here. Check in with Dan Wismar. I'm looking forward to some varying opinions here as we've gotten across our social media, which I encourage you guys to use. Facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at the Sports Fix CLE. It gets hostile over there, but it's fun. Those cats, especially on Facebook. Facebook.com/thesportsfix. Tweet with us at the Sports Fix CLE. Want your thoughts all the time on what's going on in the world of Cleveland sports. Of course, you can always email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. Phones aren't open, though. Well, excuse me, the phones are open, and I'm going to you right now. See, I'm already a step ahead. John's not with us now. You are. Caller, you're next up on the Sports Fix. Welcome in.
Good morning, J-Rock.
Good morning. This is Bruce. And by the way, 216-539-7535 is the number that he just called. It's the number you can call too. 216-539-7535. What is happening, my man Bruce? What are we talking about today?
A couple things on my mind this morning.
Right.
One with the acquisition of Moss with the Tribe.
Oh, yeah. Indians making some
okay,
moves and perhaps
do you
not
see any
done
reason
here.
why we picked up another left-handed stick?
A lot of people. The ones that are against that move, that's one of the biggest, besides him being banged up, that's the other thing that people keep pointing to, But I'll tell you what, I got to tell you, you do have to counter that with, we don't know what the finished product's going to be as far as the makeup of this roster. So that's part of the way. Although, you know what, though? To be fair, the Indians do that on purpose. That their metrics, and they're big on advanced metrics. We've talked about that before. The Indians have one of those front offices that definitely believes in that more than others do. And their metrics show them that traditionally that type of hitter from that side of the plate does better at Progressive Field. I almost called it Jacobs Field. But so that's one of the reasons. It's not that I know a lot of fans don't like it, and we all complain about that because they always lean heavy on that side of the stick. But that's partly an intentional thing by the Indians because, as I said, their research leads them to believe that those hitters are more effective at Progressive Field. So take that for what
I understand that, but what I'm saying is with the banged up hip,
balance it.
With the banged up hip and the left-handed batter and an outfielder, a designated hitter, first baseman, we have all that.
I agree.
We went out and got exactly what we already have.
Well, Bruce, but that's what I mean. Obviously, it's not, I don't know anything, but I don't think there in any way this is the construction of what the roster is going to look like. I think there's a couple of complementary moves that are going to follow this here to put things together. Okay, now if
you can't get rid of Swisher, do you get rid of Santana?
Well, I will say that I don't see both of those guys being here at spring training. Take that for what it's worth. I just don't know who you move and where you move him for and what because you're not giving Santana away. And I will be very upset if they do not get peak value for him because I'm not one of these guys like some Indians fans are, get rid of Carlos Santana. Bull. No, you don't get rid of Carlos Santana. You can do it if you want. Good teams don't just give a Carlos Santana away because you don't like the fact that he walks that much. You know what I mean?
Well, he may walk, but his on-base percentage is 150 points higher than his batting average.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. That's part of the walks. I have no problem with that. Just don't make him your cleanup hitter. Build a better lineup around him.
Definitely.
Yeah, build a better lineup around him. I like Santana, but he's got holes in his swing. I know he gets streaky. It's not like Carlos Santana is Babe Ruth. I'm not sitting here saying he's
any different than Moss because Moss is going to hit you 30 home runs, maybe, but he's going to strike out 200 times.
Absolutely.
So, what's 6 of one, half dozen of another? We're going to have, 150 home runs this year, but we're also going to have, 1,000 strikeouts.
Absolutely. Well, look, I mean, when you're building a roster, the way the Indians choose to build a roster, you don't get the pick of the litter. I mean, there's always going to be warts. There's always going to be the flip side of it. With the Indians, it is when they go after a guy with power in their price range, it has to come with 200 strikeouts a season because otherwise it wouldn't be in their price range. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reality of it.
I was saying last night, the Indians need to pull off a blockbuster trade here,
Yeah.
I mean, we need to get a third baseman, right-handed hitter. I'm thinking, maybe Chisenhall, Bauer, and, maybe throw in, somebody else. And, just pull off one trade for one big hitter. I mean, the Cubs, were the worst team in baseball last year. And, they pulled off, Lester. I mean, who
that's
does
money.
that?
That's not a trade, though. That's just
cash.
I mean,
they got Lester to sign with them on the worst team in baseball.
The Indians could do that right now. If the Indians call Max Scherzer and they dial up the right 3 numbers, they can have themselves a big-name pitcher today, too. We know that's not going to happen. I'm but
$200 million for a pitcher is just outrageous.
Oh, no. I agree. I don't think John Lester, man, I get it.
And not only that, we can wait 3 or 4 years. He'll pull his, Tommy John surgery thing, and we'll get him after he's already,
Absolutely. If he's worth $200 million now, he'll be worth at least $6 million a season after Tommy John, and then we can snatch him up, man.
Yeah, we can get him. We can get him like at a a discount.
All right, where else you at, Bruce? Johnny Football.
Okay.
I know that
Johnny
was your guy
Football.
all season.
I was going there. I was trying to lead up, slowly to it. Well, I pretty much know how you feel about Johnny, and, I kind of like the guy being the most exciting football player coming out of college.
It's not how I feel about Johnny. Let me say this again, Bruce. I told you guys yesterday that I went back and looked at some of his highlights because, it's been a while since the draft, and you haven't seen him play college football. I don't sit here and watch backup quarterbacks highlight clips all season long. Sorry if you're going, well, why'd you have to go look? Because I had to go look again.
No, everybody has to go look.
And I saw a bunch of stuff that was exactly what I saw at draft time. A few plays where you go, oh yeah, he can pull that off in the NFL. But 80% of them were, no, not a chance, dude. Like, not a chance. Now, I will say that I do believe what I said yesterday, which is athletic quarterbacks do have a small window of surprise when they first play in the league. As a matter of fact, I saw an interesting stat this week that brought up Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, and RG3, and it just took their first 3 starts as a starter in their careers and added it up, and between the 3 of them, it was sick. It was like 2,300 yards, a bunch of touchdowns and hardly no interceptions, and a bunch of running touchdowns, because that athleticism takes a minute for the rest of the league to catch up. Now, 2 things that worry me besides his size are the fact that was a couple of years ago, and the running style quarterbacks, with the exception of Russell Wilson, are trending downwards. Their stats are all trending down, which makes me wonder if the league as a whole hasn't caught up a bit. Doesn't mean that Manzel still can't be good, can't be effective, but I do wonder if the league isn't trending towards catching up to those guys a bit. That's going to be interesting. I know that his ability to be undisciplined, it can be an asset. It can also be a detriment as well, and people do need to keep that in mind this weekend, that there are going to be some, wow, did you really do that moments, that's going to come with being a rookie and being in your first start. But, I caution people about that. But those are things that I wonder. But I will say that he has the elements of surprise. I really think that that's the one thing more than anything else that just made the Browns go, let's just go for this. It's almost like, I don't want to say grasping for a straw, but this was less about Johnny. This isn't about his future or finding out what you've got. It was more about trying to salvage the last 3 games of this season and just looking for something. Like I said, I'm not trying to equate it to trying to come up with gimmick packages at the end of a season, but it's a desperation move. Actually, what's amazing is for all the people that think the whole world was thinking this makes the Browns better, actually Vegas dropped the Browns odds, not in the game, there's still a pick 'em in the game, but they actually dropped the Browns odds significantly for making the playoffs, et cetera, so on in the postseason. I mean, look, it's slim to none as it is. They've got to win out, get a little bit of help, but they do control a lot of their destiny there. And hey, look, I'm with you, Vashon. I think that the possibility is there, especially in these next 3 games, for him to surprise some people. Absolutely do I think he can surprise some people, and I see Bruce dropped off on the phone call. I don't know what happened. Bruce, feel free to give me a call back, and if you're listening and you want to get in real quick, 216-539-7535, 216-539-7535. Not sure what happened there because we're still all good to go, but Bruce dropped off the line. But I do think he has the chance to surprise the Bengals. I think he has a chance to surprise the league, and we'll see. We'll see about that. This league adjusts fast. I mean, hey, they may have it figured out by halftime, but I'm willing to bet that it takes, as I said yesterday, traditionally about a year of relying on the athleticism can be expected. I mean, I definitely think there are going to be some moments of, hey man, that's some good stuff right there, but is it enough? Does it develop into more? Does the good outweigh the bad? Because as we said before, it doesn't do you any good if you can put points on the board if you're matching it on the other scoreboard as well. But it was the move that the Browns really did have to make, just for the simple fact of taking number 2 out of the equation. You just had to spark this. You owed it to the rest of the locker room. I mean, really. I mean, the Browns did right by Brian Hoyer even going one more week than the majority of people would have went. So I really can't. And normally this is the type of thing that I would jump up and down and say, oh man, Brown